Your favorite toy truck nerds are back. Welcome to That Scale RC Show.
Hey everybody, welcome back for episode 85. This is Jay with Travis and Adam. How's it going, guys?
Oh, pretty good. And yourself?
Oh, well, actually, I shouldn't complain about the temperature at all because that's just silly for me to do that compared to what you've been dealing with. We're supposed to hit like 105 this weekend, though.
Yeah, we had that little heat wave at the end of the week last week, and now it's actually kind of like cooled down, and it's been like a high of like maybe 84, 85 the last 2-3 days. So
Wanting to get out before the weekend and do some driving again, but I don't think it's going to happen. I got to go last weekend. That was kind of nice. I had a good time hanging out with Jared.
Yeah.
Drove some moon buggies in his Capra quite a bit, and then he drove a bunch of our cars. So I don't know. It's really about the only thing I've done besides work stuff. Don't really have any like build things going on at the moment.
yeah, I got a couple things I need to button up for Axial Fest because I think we're coming down to like 3-4 weeks away.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and I've actually got the little SCX 24 bug, so I ordered some parts to kind of make it a little more fun and enjoyable. So waiting for that to come in.
Nice.
And then I think I'm actually going to get into somewhat of like the Sorka Class 2 build. I think I'm going to turn the rig that I call the cheater into more of a actual comp legal rig, and yeah, go from there. I already got new axles for it. I got one of those new Holmes Hobbies revolver. The thing's like super stubby. I mean, I think the overall from mounting plate to the end of the housing that spins is maybe 7/8 of an inch to an inch.
Really?
The thing is tiny.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is gnarly looking.
Huh.
So gonna give it a whirl.
That's pretty wild.
So yeah, I guess they're doing a limited edition on this one. It's a 540 team spec. So yeah, I think he put out like 2 or 3 batches of 60. So I think he's got less than 100 of them out there. So
Wow.
yeah, so I snagged one of those. So we'll see how it does.
Nice.
But that's about it as far as builds and all that fun stuff.
It was funny you talk about 24th scale because I just saw it. J Concepts has a 24th creep and then I think F250.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. The creep's kind of a cool looking one. I think you should do every single trail at Axial Fest with your 24th scale.
Oof. That might be rough.
Make it a goal to hit every trail with the 24th.
Start and won't finish though.
Yeah. we got the entire course at Die Hard with the SCX 24 and the Enduro 24.
Yeah. I imagine that like pales in comparison though to
Oh yeah, no.
Axial
It's
Fest
I
length.
can't remember. It's only like 150 yards worth of trail, if I remember right. Measured it out one day. I don't remember what it is now, but I think it was pretty close to that. Oh man. What else? Should we finish covering the news?
Yeah, why don't we? I don't know what you guys had. I just had a couple of industry things, not necessarily crawler related. Um, I saw this week. This is a little bit more racer prevalent, but AKA a tire company got bought out by Horizon this week, which was interesting from a consumer perspective. Because I saw what happened to Proline. So
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know how I feel about. I don't know,
yeah.
man.
I mean, AKA to be fair was like on their deathbed. They've been for
Yeah,
years.
they've been struggling for a
But
while.
I think that it was definitely weird that like Proline gets bought. That becomes like the go-to for anybody that's Horizon based, and then now we have AKA. So it's like, all right, well then, how is this supposed to work?
How many tire companies does one, like, how many tire brands does one company need?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, that's just it. It's like you're just collecting the profits for both now. So, yeah, I don't know. That one is a little bit more like just kind of like how Proline was. That's brutal for hobby shops and stuff like that. You know, I mean, like when the Proline buy happened, like I was fairly like optimistic that they weren't going to do everything they did with Proline.
Only because they said they weren't going to.
Only
and then
because,
turned around and did it
yeah,
anyways.
it had absolutely. I didn't think that at all, especially because they didn't make a post about it or anything saying that operationally nothing was changing before everything operationally changed. That had nothing to do with it at all. AKA obviously did not have like as much market share. But they were still pretty decent grip, in racing. I mean, they were still one of the big tire companies. So yeah, it's kind of frustrating in all honesty. Yeah, I haven't been an AKA customer or anything for years. So yeah, it is what it is. But I guess kind of better for some of the smaller tire brands because more people are going to be more apt to support them. So yeah.
J concepts will start getting pretty popular, I'm sure now, more so than they already are. But I mean, that'll probably end up being a lot of people's choice here soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's J Concepts, Hot Race, Lugs now. I mean, there's a little bit more tire companies than there used to be, but yeah, that's definitely like if anything, just kind of a poor omen for maybe what's to come. And then additionally for Horizon, I noticed this week that Arma actually has, I guess Horizon as a whole is sponsoring at least one NASCAR driver. And so there's an Arma wrap on a NASCAR entry.
Oh, I saw that.
The
Yeah.
next little while. So it definitely seems that Horizon is trying to build up Arma to like try and take it to Traxxas is the way that I'm starting to interpret what they're doing with that brand. Which is funny because in all honesty, I don't think they make anything near as cool. Personally, but yeah, I it's interesting that that's what they're trying to do with it is they're kind of trying to take some of that like basher market share, which I get. But yeah, kind of interesting. So Horizon's making a lot of weird moves. Yeah, it's just unfortunate to kind of see another one of the like smaller companies sort of get absolved into that just because like, we saw what happened with Proline. We kind of saw what happened with Axial. I mean, a lot of good people still work for those companies, but it's frustrating to see what's happened to the brands as a whole. And the only reason I'm even like this pessimistic about it is just because like, I mean, Proline was the complete 180 for everything they said they were going to do. And it's, very obvious that it's just, they don't care. So yeah, it's a bummer, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I noticed too that Axial is a sponsor of the Southern Rock Racing Series, which is like all the rock bouncer stuff. So they're pushing the Rift and stuff. And what was kind of cool,
that makes sense.
I don't know if we ever talked about this before or not, but what's kind of neat is they have their national events and stuff. And at each of the nationals, they actually have an RC class. And so some of
Oh,
the guys
right.
are running like 1-to-1 and they're running the RC class as well. And it's like same trophies and everything and podium pictures and all that stuff. So pretty neat that I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, which makes sense. They're like the perfect like hobby sponsor for that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Especially since they
definitely.
still kind of like make a lot of those like open wheel rigs.
Yeah. I just thought it was cool that they actually had gone and, like made a legitimate class at the nationals for it.
Yeah.
It was just cool. It's just lending RC a little bit more
I wonder if that was
credibility
like
and
part
stuff.
of the sponsorship package. Was like, we'll have a little, part of like a part of this where like you can kind of contribute to this on the RC side.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet that's what it was.
Pretty cool though.
Yeah, very, very. That's neat. But yeah, that's kind of it for news for me. Yeah.
Looks like MST's got a 242 millimeter wheelbase crawler that has come out, and it is, let's see, right around the $300 mark, I believe. And it looks like a little like Suzuki Jimny, so that's pretty cool. They've got 3 different color combos with that. They got silver, matte yellow, which is kind of a crazy one, and then blue. So yeah, so that was kind of neat. It's
That's
neat
cool.
that they're showing some love to some more like popular European style wheelers
Yeah.
versus everything that you always see in the United States,
Yeah, it's a
over and
hard
over again.
it's a hard cycle because something like it gets cool, like that's cool, gets like introduced. And
Yeah.
and then it's like, it's people kind of want it cuz it's like this sort of like niche, like you can't really get like this style, right? And
Yeah.
so people kind of get it, and then a bunch of people get it, and then it's not as cool anymore because a bunch of people bought it. So then like insert another one where it's like this is a kind of a style where not a lot of people have. It's kind of funny to see that happen kind of over and over again. But it's
Yeah.
kind of cool because I mean, no matter what, like more stuff comes onto the market that just sort of adds to the like diversity of it all.
Yeah.
I like, that's one of the things that I kind of like is the weird, like, sort of offbeat builds where, like, they're not always necessarily the most practical or cool looking thing, but they're just different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's kind of a style that you see like I don't know if you guys have ever looked at any of the like Recon G6 coverage from like when they have it over in Hong Kong and stuff, but there's a lot of rigs like that, and then a lot of like camel trophy style like defenders and stuff. So it's kind
Well,
of cool.
I think what they do is like everybody kind of models kind of what they see. And if you think about it, you know, the States, you see a lot of Jeeps, Toyotas, full size rigs, like the K5 Blazers and stuff. And then over in Europe, you see the wheelers you do see are going to be more like that. It's going to be a Dakar style or like some weird off, the beaten path kind of rig that got turned into a wheeler because that's what they have readily available over there.
Yeah,
So I think
exactly.
that's where it comes from.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I think that's pretty neat, and then it gives people a chance to have something different in a country that because once in a while you see something like that pop up. Like I was at a rest stop going to an event a couple of years ago, and we saw a Pajero in the parking lot being towed behind a motorhome. So that was kind of a trip. So
Huh.
once in a while you see those, you know, rigs that are more popular over in Asia and Europe. They'll get imported over here into the US. So that was kind of neat. It was like it's an unassuming looking rig. Like it just, looks like a samurai or something, just really small SUV. But like
Yeah.
if you kind of follow that stuff though, and like you see it and you're like, oh man, that's actually really rare, but it's not something that most people would probably catch.
Yeah. Um, I was just doing like dual, multitasking. I was scrolling through Instagram and I guess 6 hours ago, Proline released the Trencher in a 2.2. The only thing I want to bring up about this is they labeled it your new favorite crawler tire, just in a bigger size. The Trencher, wasn't that like more of a short course based tire?
It was a short course slash basher tire. Like it wasn't something that was used for like short course racing, but like for just playing around and bashing. Yeah, that was a popular one for it. And actually, those trenchers are freaking awesome. That's what I have on my solid axle EPX truck right now. And oh my God, did those tires work good? They're ridiculous. So they,
Yeah. So,
I liked them better than the Hyrax, honestly. Like they work really good. They're a fantastic cheater tire. So
well, so now you can get them in a 2.2.
yeah, I I guess like all the class 3 guys would be stoked on that. They'd probably work really, really well. Yeah, they're pretty neat. I haven't had a chance to really use them at this other spot we go to, Cap Sandy, but I spent a bunch of time last Saturday at Mount Erie with that tire, and it did really, really good, especially because that spot is typically a little slipperier, you know, like less traction on the rock surface there than what we're normally used to. So I can't wait to get it on some high grip stuff because those tires actually work really, really well.
Nice.
Yeah. Which is weird for like a basher tread, but I mean, I don't know, they just it's a really fine tread pattern on them, you know, like there's not any like really big lugs or anything. It's just mostly like 2 millimeter like ridges, you know, like
Yeah.
just little shapes. And for whatever reason, that just, I don't know, it just grabs really, really well. They're pretty awesome tires.
Hmm.
What they need to do is what I'd like to see RC 4-wheel drive do is take those Mickey Thompson Baja Pro X's and make those in a 2.2 for all the rock bouncers and stuff, because that is a meaty tire and you're starting to see those pop up more and more. If they had them in a 2.2, they would look wicked.
Yeah.
Those would be really cool for like the Rift and those rigs.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, what was it? I follow Holly Fowler, aka Mischief Maker, and she's no longer with Mickey Thompson, and she used to run those. What were the ones you were talking about that one episode? The Baja Pro something,
The Pro X.
the Pro X. So she used to run those, and now she runs the crawlers on her. I think they're 40s on her Jeep, and they just look like gnarly.
Yeah, I have the 1.9 version and I really, really like those. They look just evil.
Yeah, I have them in 1.9 also.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. Let's see. I think that's about it for like product stuff right now.
Yeah, that's why I was just scrolling through, seeing if I saw anything else.
The Ecto body's available now. I know some people were waiting for that, so that's cool. You can get that in clear through Associated.
Sweet.
Well, should we dive into some questions then?
Why don't
Yeah.
we? All right.
Yeah, you want me to open those up or?
I've got them.
Okay.
All right. Chris Trudeau, is Jay finally done with the Crafter rap?
Pretty much. Well, no, I still got to do the hood.
Okay.
But that's going to be like a 3-person job.
So no.
No.
Are his fingers no longer numb?
They hurt really bad. I've been cutting out a lot of stuff.
And then let's talk about Jay's new love of the Jeep hard body.
That thing's pretty cool. We talked about it a bunch on the last episode, I think, if I remember right. But
I don't remember.
No, it's been a fun experience. I want to weld up a cage for it and do some other stuff. But yeah, no, it's been a good time. It's a cool body.
Yeah. Eric Warren asks, any opinions on the new Traxxas Pro Scale lighting?
Did we talk about that the day that we talked about like the winch and stuff that they released?
I think so, but I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember.
I honestly can't remember. We might have touched on it, but I don't know.
I think we acknowledged it, so we probably haven't formed any opinions since.
Well, my only opinion well, see, this is the thing. I guess it's unfair, and I should be more biased, but like I I typically go with Manny from Lit LED if I'm gonna do like any kind of lights. I don't really ever do a system. I've never been that guy to go, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy a whole system and do this and do that. It's a lot of, in my opinion, excess nonsense that you put on your car, and sometimes depending on how scale your build is, you might run out of room quickly. So I haven't looked at that, like if that's gonna be another thing, like my Trick RC that has like a little like control board, so like it'll have signals and all that crap. I should probably look it up right now while we're talking about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to look right now. Wow, they have an external BEC kit you can buy now. It's the Traxxas one. It is $40. Then they got a 2-speed conversion that you can buy now. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they're working on for 3-in-1 light harness. I don't know if I'm seeing like the whole kit though. Seeing lots of harnesses and stuff. Ford Bronco light kit. Wow, $70. That's a spendy bugger.
I was going to say, it depends on what you're looking at. I'm on their website right now, and they're, what are they calling this one? It says light up the trail. It says the TRX4 LED lights are available as a complete kit or as individual components. But this thing I'm looking at, which says out of stock, is, and I don't know if this is just for the Defender because that's what they have up here, but I mean, that's $100.
God. Yeah, there's a Defender one, and then the 79 Blazer light kit is $60. The Bronco, I'm assuming the older version, is 70. Man, they're really pushing their own branded stuff. It's wild.
Yep. And I was right. Like this, if you read about it, they have like different like brightness settings on those lights. So like if you don't want them like super obnoxious, it looks like you can turn them down. But it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a lot of extra stuff just to get one function out of it. I mean, it kind of reminds me of like um Todd's running something on one of his rigs, and it's like it's tied into his to his receiver so you can control it from your remote. And it's just like, man, but you have to add all that extra just to do that, so you got to have the room for it.
Yeah, wiring gets out of control pretty quick.
Oh yeah.
There was one of our customers posted up a picture of a build and did a really nice job on it. Super, super clean wiring job.
Nice. Yeah. My wiring jobs as of late, I've been trying to use that. I call it the Chinese finger trap stuff, but it's like that. It's like that nylon mesh stuff, and I try to put all the wires through all of that to kind of keep it all nice and tidy and routed certain ways. And yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a challenge. Huh. Yeah, Traxxas is just going hard with all their stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot, like even just like little accessory stuff like traction boards and stuff like that. I mean, like they're really getting after it to where they're kind of like one source for just about everything you would need for their rigs. Pretty cool.
And then Eric, what's your take on Horizon picking up AKA? I covered that. How close is Horizon Hobby to a monopoly? Yeah, I don't know. It's getting worse.
We'll have to ask that Scale RC show legal team.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll let you know. Let you know when the cease and desist shows up. He says also, I'm heading to Axial Fest Badlands in the AM. How far is too far to drive for an event? 15 hours for me. Thanks for the entertainment.
That would be pretty close to my max. That 13 to 15 range I think is about all I'm good for.
I was gonna say I think the farthest I've driven for an event, if you want to count the like, yeah, it had to be about 9 to 12 hours. And surprisingly enough, that was at an event, I believe, in Reading. And the only reason why it took so long was because I drove to Elio's house first. Then we drove from there to Reading. So it was kind of like not a straight shot.
Yeah.
So it was like 2.5, 3 hours that way, then another like 5 hours up the other direction. So, and then even some of the ones out at Reno, if you drive straight from the Bay Area, it's about about an 8-ish.
8's not bad.
7.
I mean,
Yeah, it all depends on, really, it depends on traffic, because I know it takes us about 2.5, 3 hours to get to Auburn, and then to get to Reno is about another hour. But it depends if it's actually in Reno or is it out towards like Moon Rocks, which is another 45 minutes to an hour the other direction.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, that's always been kind of my max, but I think it also just has to do with driving in general, because I mean, you got to like, it really depends on the event, because like, for instance, driving to something like he's going to Axo Fest Badlands, which is going on this weekend. I believe it should be today through Saturday or Sunday. But that's like a multi-day event. So to drive 15 hours to drive multiple days at an RC event, that's like worth it, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're going to drive that far to do like a half-day event or a 2-hour event, I mean, it's that gets pretty crazy.
I was surprised that it was that far for him, because it was like 13 for us to go from like a little bit like northern Seattle area to
But you're also doing
what is it
to,
called?
to
Cisco.
California.
Right.
Yes, he's going to Badlands in Indiana.
Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah, pretty close, same distance. I
Because
guess I just thought it was a lot closer.
Because where is he located again?
Either Connecticut or Massachusetts, I think. That general area. I mean, pick anywhere in those states, it's about the same.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere New England, somewhere up there.
Yeah, so
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. And the other thing that's always been a trip is I've noticed like on like when you get really close to the East Coast, all those states are a lot smaller than the West Coast states. So it really doesn't take that long to get through a state. Whereas like over here, you're like, yeah, to go from here then through like for instance, when we were on our trip, to get through from California through Nevada to Utah, I mean, that's almost a whole day in itself, because it's like freaking 800 miles across the state.
Right. Whereas like here, he's going from like New York to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, before he even gets to like Indiana. Yeah. And it's kind of funny. I was thinking that exact same thing. Because like one of my friends, he lives in New York, and to get like anytime he talks about going somewhere, like whether it's like Washington or Philadelphia or anything like that, I'm like, man, that's crazy. And then it's like, oh no, it's like 2 hours. You're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, that's cool. It takes me like that to get home. Great. Yeah, it's weird. Let's see. Andre Campos, with summer nights here again, what do you guys like to use for night crawling? I like rock lights and scale lighting, no blinkers, but headlights running and brake/reverse. The light bars can be blinding when crawling in groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the real thing, I think light bars kind of like were a fad for a while. A lot of people just threw them up on everything. I mean, I went through the fad. I had one on my 94. And it's just It's like it was unusable light, especially like having a white vehicle. It just
Yeah.
reflected back up at yourself. So it was like, and then the same thing with the RC cars. They're cool and all, but they do get blinding. Whereas personally, like if you want to see more of what you're crawling over, rock lights are the way to go. Some sort of something to light up from the chassis down to the ground, and then just a decent set of headlights or a little light bar in the bumper is probably perfect, because then you're getting just enough forward light to see what you're coming up
Mhm.
against. But I think the rock lights are really where it's at if you want to see what you're doing.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like the light bars were like you almost couldn't have a crawler without one, but it was almost always like not usable light.
Well, your headlight ends up doing all the work anyways,
Yeah.
Then there's that too.
your headlamp, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't put a light bar on anything since the Gatekeeper when it came out. I put a Proline 4-inch on it. Everything else lately I've been doing just like pods or just headlights and taillights and calling it good. Like I've got a couple sets of lit LED rock lights, and gosh, I haven't even had a chance to use them yet.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, because it's almost like, if you think about it, that's kind of like the way it goes when you go with like real vehicles now too. Because like Michelle's Jeep, we just had, well, she's got the really nice factory LED headlights, but we just put those the pods on the pillar, the lower part of the windshield,
Mm-hmm.
and those things light up like everything.
Just like the little like 3-inch or 4-inch like
Yeah.
tubes is that we're
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those are crazy bright. I have a set of those that I put on, I guess I call them like ditch lights, depending on
Yeah.
what the rig is, but I have those on my F-150. I just haven't wired them up yet to see what they're all about. I've got a pretty big wiring chore ahead of me with that. So
What you need to do, and I know this is not RC related at all. You need to look at like a company like either S Pod or Switch Pro. I know there's some like cheaper brands on Amazon, but those products are worth their weight in gold. It is so much easier running that.
I've been seriously considering it because there's one that's like a 6 gang on
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, and it's like $70, which would be kind of nice because like the light bar that I have now is 9 4-inch round lights, and the outer two on the left and the right are floods, and then all the rest of them in the middle are the other 5 are spots. So it would be kind of cool to be able to have those wired up to where it's sort of mix and match, being able to turn them on.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is it's usually one wire coming through the firewall up to the control pad, and then you have one section underneath the hood where you run all the lights to it, and you just plug it into the, like for instance, we got the S Pod on Michelle's. So like, and it's like labeled, each like set of terminals that you plug into are for whatever switch it is. Like it'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way across to the 6. And like we have the compressor on the 1, then you put the those pillar lights on the number 2. Then we have a reverse light that we have on number 3, and it's just so easy because you don't have to worry about running all these individual switches back into the rig. You just go to that, and your little switch pod area works.
It's not very fun trying to find a hole in the firewall to run all your
Well,
wiring through. That sucks.
well, there's that too, because I remember, oh God, what was I running? I forget what I was running, but I was running something, and like a dumbass, I was drilling holes through the firewall to try and get whatever light or something that I was trying to run on my 94. And I drilled through, and like right as it started to go through, I like stopped because I was like, I don't know what's on the other side of it. And I wired everything up, and I'm like, all right, cool, sweet. I go to fire up the truck, and my radio didn't work. I was like, what the hell? And I happened to look back underneath where I drilled through, and I happened to nick the outer 2 wires on this cluster of wires. And I was like, that's got to be the problem. And then
Oh no.
I had to sit there and try and solder them all back together, tape them all back up. But it's like, it's like that kind of problem. You're like, that wouldn't have happened if you would have just had to go one time through the one section where it was wide open and you'd be done.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way I'm gonna go, because I've got a set of those little cube lights in my bed by the tailgate too, for like not really backup lights, but like you can fold the tailgate down and turn them on and kind of like use it to light up your pit area or whatever, or load up the bed of the truck. So like I've had those sitting there forever and I never did wire them up. So I don't know, I got a bunch of stuff like that to do, but I think I'm gonna do like you're saying and just go with like a one central switch setup and go that route.
Elliot Chappelle says, since SR is all about performance upgrades, when will you release a brass bumper mount for the Enduro?
I think that's slated for never, if I remember right.
Yeah.
You mean you don't want to be like Traxxas?
It's gonna be like fall of no way in hell.
Yeah, basically. What an idiot. Why would he say that? Jeremy Kim, when is too much when it comes to rebuilding a rig, weight, setup, overall look of the build? Well, it's never too much if you're having fun.
Yeah, just do whatever you feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's never too much. I mean, because everybody's level of a rebuild is different. Like, I'm typically one of those. I don't really ever go back in and like re-grease anything unless like I have to or if something breaks. Like, so, if like you're at, like, let's say you go to put in a locker or different gears in your axles, well, that's when I'll re-grease it. Until then, it'll probably see the same grease the whole time, but it might go through a body change here or there. You might throw a different bumper on it, maybe different electronics because you're trying something out, a little different. So I would say there really never is too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Ryan Crowley says, Adam, how was the road trip? Favorite moment?
The road trip, I know I discussed this a little bit in the last one. It was awesome. I definitely recommend, if anybody's got the time and or money to do so, I recommend doing some sort of a road trip where you're going to be on the road for, I'd say, at least a week. We did 10 days. I definitely say everybody should do it because it's kind of interesting because, a lot of people that travel a lot, they fly everywhere, and you just drive to the airport, get on a plane, usually on the plane for like, a couple hours, and you're at your destination, you get in your rental and you do whatever. When you're on the road, you get to see a lot more and you get to see what's actually out there, and you get to soak it all in. So it was kind of cool because like now I can at least say, hey, I've driven across Nevada, across Wyoming, through you pretty much through the entire center of Colorado. And it's like I got to see what was out there more than just, okay, you fly over there, then you've missed all of what was in between.
Right.
So I thought overall that was a really cool aspect. Going to Moab was actually really interesting because it's a total, I guess you can say, kind of like a culture shock, because I'm used to the West Coast where you're either at the beach or you have the mountains. There's not really like that sandy, deserty rock unless you're down in SoCal, kind of closer to like San Bernardino, um, what is it? Drawing a blank now. What desert is that?
Oh, Christ.
Not the Mojave Desert, is it?
No, I can't even think of it right now. But anyways, unless you're down there, you're not really like there. You don't really get to see like desert formations. So when we're out at Moab, it was a trip because you're getting to see all these desert rocks and giant formations in these like red and orange rocks that I just don't normally see. So that was like a trip. So definitely going there was a lot of fun. And yeah, like I said, the whole trip itself was fun. But I guess, getting to see something other than the mountains was kind of like what was really, I guess special.
Yeah. Special.
Travis, with COVID restrictions lifting, are there any races coming up that you would be interested in? Not really, because I don't have my nitro program together, so that would kind of be like the condition. Once I have the nitro program together, then it's kind of, kind of all open up for grabs at that point, but I'm not really in a hurry. I want to make sure I do that correctly if I do it. It's not fun if you half-ass it. So, yeah, probably not. I'm enjoying kind of doing just stuff at home. So it's, it's kind of crazy how much money I save by not going racing. So there's that too. So kind of enjoying that at the moment.
Plus, we've been spending a lot of time doing like crawler stuff too, which has been fun.
Yeah, that has been for sure the bulk of the focus. So it's hard to, any open weekend is hard to come by, and yeah, you gotta, kind of make it work somehow.
Yeah.
Jay, how's the wild and crazy dating apps working out for you?
They're not working out.
No,
yeah. I've been over it for a while.
No Nordic warriors or anything.
No, nothing like that. Not lately, at least.
Oh, that's good. He says, thanks for a great podcast, guys. Well, thank you.
Is he talking to us?
Maybe.
Weird.
I think.
We'll find out. Wes Braswell is our last question. Wes Braswell, do you take your crawlers on vacation?
So I'll jump in on that one. Not always. It really depends on what we're doing. Since I knew we were going to Moab, I threw 2 rigs in the truck or Jeep because I knew that I wanted to try and get some crawling done, even though I got like none at all. Typically, like if I know I'm going out of town and we're doing something, I won't really bring a car just because, like I said, I know I won't have time for it. If you're going out of town to go, rock crawling or scaling or whatever, then yeah, I'm gonna bring one with me. But I guess it really just depends on what we're doing.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been on vacation in a really long time. So if I did go on vacation, I would take them with me. Something at least.
I may take something when I go to Oregon next month, just so that way I can try and get some sort of marketing done in the terrain. I got to think about that.
I was thinking it'd be cool to just, I don't know, pack around a 24th scale all the time.
Yeah.
Just, leave it in your backpack or whatever because they're so little.
Yeah, that too.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's it for questions.
Wow.
Which actually, since we keep bringing up the 24th scale, that's why I'm trying to kind of throw a few more parts at the 24th scale to, make it a little more capable. I've driven the JLU a handful of times. And I was just like, yeah, it works, but you can definitely see where there's room for improvement. So I guess the list of parts that I've gotten so far is I got new wheels coming just because I got the RC four-wheel drive KM3s, and then I got the battery tray that like lowers it between the frame rails, I think, from what I've seen, and that was from I ordered that on Shapeways. That was like, what is it, like Racer 19 or something like that, or Mod 19, whatever. He's on Instagram. But I got his. I'm also running his sliders on there, but that's the first like performance thing I bought from him. And then I'm gonna see if it works. I got the servo mount to put a different servo in there. I'm gonna try and put, because I have one of those MKS. I think it's a 6100 or 3100 micro servo from when I was trying to use that for the dig in the Capra. So I'm gonna try and get that to work. And then the only other stuff was the brass knuckles and the brass front diff cover, only because I was trying to keep a little more weight up front. So when you're cresting over stuff, it doesn't want to teeter backwards.
I found a battery tray on Thingiverse for our SCX 24 that we have, because we have the JLU one, and it moves the battery to the front, and that made a huge difference in how that thing works.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, this one I think still keeps it where it's at. It just drops it, so you don't have to like modify anything else really. And I think it also comes with new shock mounts, like because you're replacing where the other ones go.
Right. I'm trying to look at ours to see if that's the way this is too. Yeah, it does. The shocks and the body mount are all part of the battery tray mount. I wish they made more stuff for the Enduro, but
That's where you guys are gonna have to come up with a, what are you gonna call it? You're gonna have to call it something else, because you already have the, what is it? It's the APX.
oh, the EPX. Yeah, we could do the MPX, the micro, but I don't know. I don't even know what we would do on that thing.
Almost like what we already talked about, some sort of battery tray, maybe a servo so you can run other micro servos, because I don't know how is the servo the on the enduro or the, you know, the associated 24th scale.
Seems to be pretty good. It's not axle mounted. It's a CMS, but I don't know. I would like to see. I mean, it's a tall order because it's really, really. We're talking some very small parts, but some better shocks would be kind of nice for some of these little rigs.
Yeah.
Do you think those little RC, are they hot racing? I forget if they're hot racing or RC 4-wheel drive that makes the shocks, and they come with like 3 different spring rates.
I think Hot Racing has some. Somebody has actually like oil-filled shocks that you can get for it. I want to say it's Hot Racing.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now.
Dude, there's not even a scratch on the diffs on this thing. Like on the SCX, it has been used so little. Poor thing. It's had no kind of life so far.
Real quick, Chris Trudeau had an answer for last week's question about the tools.
Mm-hmm.
He said what his things are the Black & Decker cordless screwdriver and the 8-piece hex driver set from Factory Team.
Oh, yep.
That's a dog combo.
That one dude posted up the C-clip tool.
I
the
saw
Dynamite
that.
one. That's pretty neat, man. Like I might actually have to pick one of those up. I had never seen that one before.
Yeah, Dynamite E-clip tool. I thought that was super cool. Never seen that.
Yeah, no. You would think something like that, is convenient as that would be, you would think you'd see it popping up somewhere.
Right.
Yeah, so real quickly, I was just looking. I think I got these ones, the Hot Racing SCX 24 Reservoir Friction damper shocks. They're cheap. They're like $26, $27. They come with an extra set of springs, so you can do a different different spring rate. And then what does it say? And it actually does. This is the one you're talking about, where you can actually put oil in them or silicone. I'm going to give those a shot too. I'm wondering if that length would work on your 24.
I think they're pretty darn close to being the same. I think my Enduro 24 is in the house right now, so I don't have it right in front of me to look at, just the axial one. but I think it's pretty close to the same length. I would be curious to know if the holes for the screws are the same diameter, if they use the same kind of hardware.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like we almost should do like a, I don't know if we could ever do like a comparison, like a live comparison between the rigs. I mean, you have both rigs. I was gonna say between like, my rig and your rig.
Oh yeah, one that's like heavily modified versus one that just has like one thing done to it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm still waiting on some parts. I mean, I have a handful of them sitting there. My biggest pet peeve with the 24th scale is the aftermarket wheels. They're either very gaudy or they look very like cheap.
They need to stop putting like regular scale wheel, like 10th scale hardware on the outside of them because it looks crazy.
No, I agree. And then, yeah, and then like some of the ones that I think that look really good, I just don't know how well they're going to hold up. Like for instance, I think Gearhead has some 24th scale wheels, and they're all machined, but they're glue on, and it's like,
Yeah, I saw somebody
gluing,
else did that too.
gluing to aluminum. I just don't know how well that's going to hold up.
It's not bad. I mean, I've done it before, but yeah, let's see. Yeah, the Samix ones, I believe their wheels are brass. You glue those. Then they have an aluminum set that you glue also. SSD and RC four-wheel drive are actual beadlock ones. Yeah, it's weird, man. Like there's just not not a lot of choices right now. Like, and I don't know how you pronounce it, if it's Trial or T-Real or whatever, but they have some that are like okay, but again, they've got the hardware on the outside. Those, whatever it was, Power Hobby ones, I think that we had gotten for the giveaway rig. So far, those are my favorite, but they're just kind of a really blah design. I sanded the lip on them so that it looked like, they had like a aluminum beadlock ring that was, different because there were black wheels, and like that helped, give it some detail, but I don't know. Not a lot out there just yet. And what is out there, there's a lot of it on back order.
Oh, then there's that too.
Which I get, like 24th scale so popular right now.
Dude, I still would love to, but it's just the price is killing me. I'd love to do one of those the micro shark conversions.
Oh yeah, those are cool, huh?
But I mean, it's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's all through Shapeways, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, ouch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on there right now and look. Because I believe, let's see if I can look it up. David, what the hell? That's weird. I've never actually gone to Shapeways. I've never actually gone to their. Oh, there we go. Search our marketplace. Micro shark. Okay, the frame is 58.88. Then you need the
Ooh.
seats. Then you need the seats, which is another $14. Well, $13.58. Then the dash, which is another $7.53. Then they recommend, but it's not needed, this servo mount, so that way you can put the bigger servo in there, which is another $10.49. Then there's a fuel cell / cooler cover for the rear, which is another $13.49. Then you need the chassis parts, so that way it holds all your electronics and everything, that's another 1687. Then you need a right side panel, which is 649, a left side panel, which is another 649. What else? They have, then you have the two different kinds of hoods, but they're both about the same price, 1245 and 1248. Then
Dude,
you
that's
need,
like a $300 rig by the time you're done.
like I said, by the time you're done, yeah, you're looking at after you buy the car, which you'll buy the 24, the SCX 24 for about 125, 150 at the highest. And then you're going to probably have about another $100-ish in upgrade parts. I mean, it's going to be almost as expensive as a 1/10 scale ready to run when you're all done.
Yeah, that is so gnarly. Wow.
So, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, it's Mod 19 RC. I'm sorry, I totally butchered his name on the one I was talking about earlier. I said Racer 19. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff. I mean, he even has this thing. He's got an SCX 24E ECX Barrage motor plate, so you can put that motor in there. I mean, he's got so much stuff, and it's like the only problem is when you go through Shapeways, it's expensive. Supposedly, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he also sells his stuff on My Mini Factory, which means then you could buy the file and print it yourself, but still,
Yeah.
it gets pricey.
Yeah, very. That adds up really quick.
So that's what's always kind of held me off. Plus, I like all my rigs that I have. I have the JLU, which I think is really cool. So I have that one the way like just stock. I have the Chevy C10, which my buddy's son picked up for me from our hobby shop before they closed. So that's kind of sentimental. So I don't really want to tear that apart. And then my only other 24th scale is the hard body Suburban. So it's like, how do you tear all those apart?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'd have to get a deadbolt. And even that, like I said, it's like 125. So I don't know.
So
I'm,
gnarly.
I might break down one time and do it, but
Would be cool.
yeah, because I forget who does it on. There's somebody who does it on Instagram, and they hold little 124th races.
Oh yeah, I think Randall had gone to a couple of them.
Yeah, what's his name? Something Pellegrino or something like.
Oh, Jordan Pellegrino.
Yes, him.
Yeah, that's his course is no joke. I remember seeing pictures of it. It looks gnarly. Kind of a slow week as far as stuff goes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, same here. I was gonna say I'm like struggling to stay awake right now.
Man.
Yeah. It's been a long week already. I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah. Oh, we can talk about those foams that I posted up that picture of. I want to try those. I think those are pretty cool.
Do it.
Hopefully they're not too stiff, but I don't know. They look like a cool idea.
Yeah, let's give it a go.
John Martin said something about how they're copying the guy in Germany or whatever. I don't know if he's talking about Crazy Crawler or some other brand, but I don't know. I had never seen foams that were that style by anybody before today.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're intriguing. It'd be worth checking out.
Someone just posted a question on our Instagram at the
Are you
very
sure
last moment.
it wasn't that advertisement of?
No, I looked at that earlier. Let's see. I just got the thing for it. What's the last thing? This is from Checkered Pass 503. He says, "What's the last thing you could think of that Axial Fest would release at Axial Fest, or Axial would release at Axial Fest Badlands?"
The last thing?
Last
Yeah.
thing.
I don't know if he means like a most unlikely, or this is our last chance to take a stab at potentially being wrong.
Oh, like actually trying to guess for
Yeah,
real. That they
I'm not
might.
sure.
If they're
Honestly,
releasing something, it's been kept pretty quiet.
I
yeah.
feel
Honestly, I don't see them releasing anything.
yeah.
The
I mean,
least likely thing I could see them doing would be doing a reissue of the Yeti or EXO.
yep.
that's probably like that would be the most surprising thing ever. But
I feel like
yeah,
we would have
no,
heard some whispers at this point.
yeah, no, I don't know. It'd be interesting. I don't think there's anything coming though.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And then his other question was, what's an underrated vehicle that doesn't get enough credit?
Oh boy.
Underrated vehicle that doesn't get enough credit. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would say. I mean, I probably would be the Red Cat because I mean those bodies the scout bodies are pretty like they're pretty nice. Like for everybody kind of always having that joke about Red Cat being like the you know not hobby grade but like basically like the runt of the litter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having the having that nice body, like it's actually like the truck works pretty well. I know a handful of people that have them and it crawls pretty well. It's never gotten the recognition like Axial or Associated did, or even Traxxas, and I just don't think they ever will. And I that might be one that I would put up for underrated.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree with that. I mean, and they do have a pretty like deep cult following too, like there's definitely, like a core group of customers they have that are really into those rigs.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
Probably.
there's MST, but I don't know anybody who has one, so I couldn't like tell you about it. Cross RC, I don't know.
Hard
I
to
mean,
say.
I know a couple of people that have their stuff. Like it's nice, but it's kind of about the same quality as like RC four wheel drive. Like a lot of metal parts. But not like really nice metal parts necessarily. I don't know. It's hard to explain without sounding super super derogatory. But like I don't know. They're nice, but not the most capable things, I guess is what I could say.
Cool. Do we have anything else?
No, honestly, I think that's it. We might actually have a really short episode this week.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Oh, we're just over an hour, so right around an hour. So I think that works.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
I guess the only other thing I would just throw in there is kind of like a last little whatever. If you guys have been following Axial's social media, they are doing that online Axial Fest concourse thing. So like every time they put up a post or they're calling or whatever it is that next class, just post up a picture and you're supposed to use their hashtag Axial Fest from home. So I didn't know if that's anything anybody wants to participate in. I know they just finished the SCX 24. Now they're doing trail truck or daily driver. So, and I think at the is the end of the month. I don't know. They're gonna pick winners. You can win swag or whatever. So
Awesome.
thought it was kind of cool, neat, different. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that on their Instagram stories today. It was almost like it kept pairing up different rigs. So
they
I don't
kept.
know if it was like an elimination type thing they were doing, but it was kind of neat idea.
I do got to say, out of those, that one Chevy is badass.
That is, and honestly, the quad kind of got my attention. That quad looks pretty legit.
The quad was different because it, you know, like they turned it into a different vehicle. It's kind of like when everybody used to get the Yeti Junior and turn it into a Razor before they came out with their own.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it was kind of neat.
but with that, I say we wrap it up.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, we will catch all you guys later.
Alrighty. See you guys.
See ya.